Hi guys, my name is Irene and I'm in Newlywed. Congrats to me! Today I'm going to tell you about our Russian wedding traditions and Russian movie Горько. Now Kiss will help me a bit. Let's go! Let's begin with types of wedding. Usually people arrange grand feasts for 30+ guests. Wealthy people pay for off-premise catering. Tents are installed on the embankment of a river. Decorations in the cake are luxurious. Some prosperous people even rent whole restaurants, hotels for their celebration. Those who are even richer go somewhere abroad. The famous musicians perform at such weddings. The orchestra is playing during the wedding. The host is usually a comedian, a famous TV presenter. There are some brides who consider this kind of wedding to be a bit boring, a bit old-fashioned, and they prefer something hipster-wise. For instance, they recreate a style of Bonnie and Clyde or The Little Mermaid love story. Let's get to ordinary people. Many years ago, our ancestors lived in the villages and they arranged these huge rural weddings where guests came from all nearest villages. Peasants didn't have money to spend, but they had their crops and cattle. So the tables, there were very long tables and they were stuffed with mouth-watering food. I'll link here a video where I tell about Russian feasts. So this tradition still lives, but it's amended. Brides and grooms' relatives and friends come from all corners of the country to celebrate the wedding, and they are supposed to bring quite expensive gifts. Before the wedding, a bride has a hen party and a groom has a stag party, just the same as in the USA or somewhere in Europe. They all either go to a strip club or girls prefer something more romantic, a city quest game, a sleepover, a pajama party, or I don't know, karaoke singing, something like that. We normally don't have this American tradition when bridesmaids put on the same dresses, and we don't have a special place like Las Vegas where you can easily get married. Well, usually a bride gets up early in the morning, like 6 a.m. A hairstylist and a makeup artist get her ready, and then a couple goes to the civil registration office where they listen to the Russian anthem and solemn speeches. Afterward, they get their marriage certificate.
Сегодня такой день у вас. День рождения вашей семьи.
Then a photo shoot is waiting for the newlyweds. As a rule, it's something tried and tasteless. A groom is trying not to die from boredom, and a bride is cautious of how she looks. What a beautiful sight. Then a feast begins. A host, who is a former Kievan player. Kievan is a famous Russian comedy TV show where student teams perform. So this host holds some stupid contests, everybody gets drunk, and that's it. So that's the whole feast. People spend on average 300,000, 500,000 rubles. It's approximately $7,000.
Мать моя женщина. Да я лучше сама все дома приготовлю за такие деньги.
Но вы можете тогда не платить, если считаете, что это настолько неважно.
You might have noticed that I'm not a huge fan of weddings. That's so true. However, let's move to famous Russian wedding traditions. During the feast, guests must present expensive gifts. People used to present household appliances like a microwave oven or a kettle or something like that, but nowadays they prefer envelopes with money. On the wedding side attended, people presented 5,000, 10,000 rubles. It's approximately $70 or $150. I realize that for some of you it may seem a modest sum, but for us Russians it's a lump sum. I've got a personal humiliating story about that. Once friends of mine invited me to a wedding in another city. At that time, I had to pay all the money I earned for my flat. I had payment by installments, so I was skint. But still, I had to buy train tickets to the city, to purchase a gift, and to attend a hen party. As to the latter, I had neither time to go there nor money, luckily, but as to the gift, it was a must. My parents had a shop back then where they sold houseware. I begged them to give me the most expensive bed clothing they had at the time. So I realized that it was a vulgar gift, but I didn't have much of a choice, and I didn't have another $100 to spend, so I took it. I thought that I would leave my gift somewhere at the table and that will be it, but it was such an embarrassing performance. I had my gift wrapped and it was such an enormous box, so guests were supposed to come to the bride and groom and present their gifts and say some nice words about your personal connection to the newlyweds. Almost all people presented envelopes, but I have this embarrassing huge box, and in response to a host's question what's inside, I told that it was a secret and I wouldn't like to reveal it. I understand that later when they unwrapped my present they were disappointed and either threw it away or gave it to their relatives. Be that as it may, I still loved this wedding. It was much of a fun. I don't know, maybe I shouldn't have gone to the party if I couldn't afford buying a gift. What do you think about it? Did you have any embarrassing situations connected to a wedding? Write in the comments below, I'd like to know. Number 2. Apart from gifts, guests should give away their money while participating in contests. A host or a toastmaster, usually a woman in her 50s.
Женщина, вы меня извините, конечно, а вы зачем сюда с таким лицом пришли? Что я сказала?
У них стаж 20 лет. Понимаешь? Это лучшее, что есть. Лучшее!
Holds numerous contests to collect money in order to cover at least some expenses for the wedding. Because some weirdos even take loans for a wedding. So can you imagine that? And sometimes guests present empty envelopes. My parents also got such envelopes. So contests are like the following. A guest can buy the first slice of a cake. Usually, when it comes to desserts, people are severely drunk and they can spend $100 or more for a slice. Also, a toastmaster takes some kid clothing and she goes to the guests and urge them to put money into that clothing. So it's considered to be a symbolic bank account for future kids of the newlywed. These contests may seem harmless, but it's not like that. A toastmaster forces you to spend money, and if you can't afford it, or if you are not willing to, you are considered to be a penniless loser who doesn't deserve any respect. And I felt I was so deeply ashamed that I decided not to attend any more weddings in my life. Maybe I will change my mind, but not for the nearest future. Number 3, the kidnapping of a bride. In the middle of a wedding, a groom gets a sudden piece of news. A bride has been kidnapped. So a groom has to start his own investigation, and when he finds out where his bride is, he has to answer some questions of the kidnappers, and after that he'll get his woman back. Or he's supposed to pay a ransom.
А вы выкуп за нашу принцессу привезли?
Это вы должны нам выкуп за нашего богатыря.
Number 4. Bride throws her bunch of flowers. Having turned her back to the guests, a bride throws a bunch of flowers to the unmarried women, and the one who catches it is going to get married next. Sometimes girls start a fierce fight for the flowers. I've never catched flowers in my life, but I've never put enough effort. Number 5. Groom has to drink alcohol from a bride's shoe. I don't know what this is supposed to symbolize, probably mutual trust, whatever, but this is disgusting. People who understand that this is insanitary put a small liquor glass on the sole of a shoe, and only after that, groom drinks it. Yuck! Number 6. Wedding celebrations take several days. Sometimes the second, the third, and all the other days are devoted to booze up. People go to their summer houses or somewhere else. They just relax and enjoy themselves. Rich people even divide wedding into 2 parties. One traditional for their relatives, and another hipster-wise, something hipster parties for their friends.
Давай 2 свадьбы сыграем. Одну для него, другую, как ты хочешь.
А где мы столько денег возьмем?
Машину продадим, нам на все хватит.
Number 7. Breaking plates and dishes. This is a gesture of good luck for a young family. People break dishes, champagne bottles, people's heads. I'm just joking. Or not. The more shards they get, the better. Number 8. Bride doesn't show her dress to the groom before the wedding. The first time he actually sees her is at the wedding. If a couple breaks this rule, their marriage isn't going to be sturdy enough. Number 9. Russians don't get married in May. As you may know, we are very superstitious. I'll link a video here where I tell you about this. So, this tradition goes back to many centuries ago, when peasants had to sow seeds in May and they didn't have time for any huge festivities. But this tradition still lives, and many couples avoid getting married in May. So did we when we were choosing the date, and we decided to postpone our wedding till June. Number 10, the last one. Guests shout Горько, now kiss, and then a bride and a groom starts kissing. The thing is that the word Горько is translated like bitterly, so it's an adverb, and guests are expressing their sorrows regarding the ended bachelor lives of the newlyweds. While a couple is kissing, guests are counting how long they are going to hold out. And now a few words about my wedding on the 3rd of June. We decided to get married in February, picked up available date, bought wedding rings, outfits and some jewelry, and that was it. I didn't want to buy a luxurious wedding dress, the average cost of which is 30,000, 50,000 rubles, approximately $500 or $700. That's insane. Why do people spend money like water in order to put on a dress once in a lifetime? I don't know. My fiance bought me a nice wedding dress. Actually, it's not wedding. It is designed for a graduation party, but who cares? It cost 6,000 rubles, approximately $90, and I'm still going to wear it. Then COVID-19 came into our lives, but we decided not to put the wedding off. On the 3rd of June, we went to the civil registration office, just the two of us. The relatives were not allowed. We put on our masks and gloves and entered the office. The lady took our passports and left us. We were waiting for 20 minutes while listening to the printer slowly printing out our marriage certificate. Simultaneously, we listened to what happened in the neighboring office. They were establishing paternity according to the decision of the court. Oh, how romantic! Then we went out where our parents were waiting for us. They took a few photos, and then we had a small dinner all together, and that was it. So we decided not to spend money for a huge feast, but still we liked our wedding, and I don't see the point in spending huge sums of money and taking loans. I don't think it's reasonable. On Sunday, the 7th of June, we had a photo shoot. We were just walking along the streets of St. Petersburg. I like this city very much. I've been living here for 10 years, and I was so glad to see once again these beautiful streets, bridges, parks, and whatever, because we live rather remotely from the center of the city, and we didn't have a chance to walk here during the COVID time. But it was a great, lovely day. Just look at us, we are so adorable, so cute, and we didn't have wind or rain. We were so lucky to have such a beautiful weather, and the city was kind to us. So now I'm going to print out some pictures, and I don't even know what to pick. That was it. Guys, I think you want to give me thumbs down, do you? If so, please don't. I write scripts, amend content plan, and shoot these videos just for you, so I need your support. Please subscribe to my channel, give me a thumbs up, and tell your friends and acquaintances about myself. See ya!